Om. Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. We have concluded the previous chapter, and the last verse which said was Yathodakam Shuddhe Shuddham Asiktam Truk Tadrug Eva Bhavati Eva Muner Vijanata Atma Bhavati Gautama. And here the thought that was being presented is just as when the water is poured into the water, it becomes water alone. Similarly, the self of one who has understanding becomes the supreme, contemplating on it and being it. It just needs one click. And here the example that is taken is as the water falling from on the mountain, mountain top, and it gets together and forms the various streams becomes rivers, then many small rivers join and make the big river, and eventually that river goes and joins the sea. In the same way, or the ocean, and in the same way, the consciousness, if this consciousness can be collected together, what do we mean by collected together? That consciousness which is not allowed to dissipate. How does it dissipate? It dissipates through the senses. It dissipates by thinking about the world. It dissipates as the vitality. It dissipates as the expenditure of energy. And if a seeker can bring himself or herself into focus, I should say, why himself, herself? If a jiva can bring itself into focus, itself. I get caught up in words. Now, and with that focus, so what is the focus? Just as all the millions of drops became the streams, hundreds of streams became the river, many small rivers became one big river, and that big river went and joined the ocean. Similarly, millions of drops are the objects of the world, or your consciousness, which is accepting the variety of the world. For everything, this is a light, this is a laptop, this is a paper, this is the table. Everywhere this eye is going out. That one eye is divided into thousands of eyes. Same way, we pull our energy back rather than getting dissipated in the world, rather than becoming lost in the forms of the world. We come to the senses. So all those millions of objects of the world have come down to 5 senses, 5 streams. Those 5 streams have become one river, the mind. And that mind eventually merges or contemplates on the ocean. But for that, we have to uh, preserve, we have to shift our attention, we have to understand that the more we dissipate ourselves, the more we are getting scattered. The more we become focused, the more we are collected. We are single pointed. And only a single pointed mind can have this understanding. This understanding cannot happen to a dissipated mind. And in this way, such a person is called a Dhira Purusha. And who is this Dhira Purusha and who is this egoistic Purusha or a Jiva? Dhira Purusha is he who is allowing the universal self to function through. He has gotten out of the way. And what is the vision of the universal self? The vision of the universal self is I alone am. So, if we can bring ourselves to a disposition where the rather than all our thoughts are being determined by the ego, the individuality, are determined by the divine, by the Ishvara, by the universal self. And this is possible. Such a person is called a Dhira Purusha. Such what do you call? Our actions, they become self-determined. We don't have to think behind. We don't have to work them out. We don't have to manipulate. We don't have to desire. When we get out of the way, when the owner of the thoughts gets out of the way, immediately, instantaneously, the infinite, the divine, he takes over. Because everything in this world is nothing but that infinite only. We are concretizing that infinite into an objective form. What did Einstein say? There is nothing called matter. There is only energy. Energy crystallized is called matter. Matter melted is called energy. Similarly, we take it one step further. The universal self is one without a second. When we function from the ego, that universal self, which is everything, we crystallize him as an ego. Ego means duality. Ego means subject and object. And immediately, the entire consciousness is crystallized into objects and forms. Actually, it is, ice is nothing but water only. Wave is nothing but water only. The drop or the froth is nothing but water only. For this variety of water, this variety of the reality is one without a second. This variety is available only to the individual, not to the Dhira Purusha. Why? He has gotten out of the way. Now universal self is functioning, the infinite self is functioning. I'm just using different words. Ishvara is functioning through him. He has got no axe to grind. He has got no purpose to fulfill. As our Swamiji says, nothing to do, nowhere to go. And he's fulfilled. Nothing. Everything is just going on. What do you mean by going on? Everything is self-determined. Which self? Not the individual self. Individual self creates variety. When everything is determined by the infinite, by the totality, the total self, universal self. That time, whatever the person says happens. He is at the right place, in the right time, in the right company, in the right circumstances, going through the right event. There is no thought only, there is no owner of what is going on. And in this way, we should not be uh, rooted to our ego consciousness. We must get out of it, surrender to that infinite, and allow it to function through you. And and in this way, see, we are having relationships, we are talking to people, we have families, we have extended families, we have friends. We get divided into so many. Actually, everything is one consciousness. Just as in the dream, consciousness is one, the mind. But it gets as if divided into the entire experience of the whole dream, inert as well as the what you call, the conscious, the life. Actually, everything is one. So is true here also. Everything is one. But it seems as if this consciousness has divided itself into manyness. On account of what? On account of attachment, on account of ownership, on account of an identity about itself with reference to something or someone. And in this way, when this is happening, we are determined, we the consciousness are determined by the objects, whatever is the reference, that is determining who we are. A woman is determining herself with the reference point of husband. So she starts behaving like a wife. Actually, she is woman. So when who we are, similarly, this consciousness, who we are essentially, when it starts getting determined by the objects of the world, such a person is called a jiva, an individual. So don't define yourself on account of the objects of the world. Don't define yourself with reference to anything in the world, anything or anyone in the world. That with reference to not only is husband, wife, children, etc., it's also your body, your senses, your mind, your intellect, your waking, your dream, your sleep. I am a devotee. Again, there is a reference. So be referenceless. Being referenceless means what? Being referenceless means being a center without any circumference. That is what it means. Just as the space in the pot, it is not limited to the pot. It is infinite by nature. But if it starts thinking, can it think that I am only the pot? Space cannot think. Because it is inert. You think you are intelligent, but you are acting more stupidly than that inert space. You think I am only this body. And when we think we are only this body, we have created a circumference, we have created a reference. Who are we essentially? Infinite. but we have taken a reference of this object. If you can't understand with this body, at least you can understand with your husband or wife or children. That you are a man or a woman, and with reference to someone, you start acting funnily, and that funny personality is called wife, husband, mother, father, son, daughter. So change. When we live with reference to something, when we define ourselves, we are allowing something else, someone else, to determine who we are, then what is the conclusion of that? Conclusion is we are not living independently. The swatantrata is not there. You are dependent. Your whole personality itself is dependent. See, this is not independence. And what are you seeking? Independence. Where are you seeking? In the world. But till now we have not received it. We have not achieved it. Yes, no doubt. The world in essence is who you are or what the consciousness is. And that is why you feel attracted towards the world. Keep running after it. Keep desiring it. Thinking that if I own this, I'll be content and complete. Then it doesn't happen. Then if I take that and if I create a relationship with that, then I'll be complete. If I marry this person, then I'll be complete. If I have a child, then I'll be complete. If I have a second child, I'll be complete. If I have food, I'll be complete. 4 hours later, again food comes, hunger comes. So we find, if you analyze your life factually, not emotionally, you will find your entire life of interaction, this is from for a seeker is being told. Otherwise, Swami, ye kya bol rahe ho? Then get out. Don't listen to it if you can't handle it. So we are unable to be the independent one. We are unable to be the independent one. We always want some reference. We always want some dependence. We always want to be enslaved. We always want to define ourselves with reference to something. And in this way, in this process, we lose the consciousness as if loses independence. Loses independence. And what are we seeking? Independence. What are we seeking? Moksha, nirvana, enlightenment. And all these words mean infinite freedom. Infinite freedom. How can our insistence on allowing ourselves to be determined by the objects of the world, which includes breath, body, breath, mind, intellect, thoughts, emotions. In the end, everything is thoughts only. How can we allow these inert, temporary references determine who we are? The one who allows this, he is called a jiva. Who does not allow this, everything is going on, but he is not concerned about them. He is not owning them up. He is not defining himself on account of them. Such a person is a dhir purusha. See. So collect yourself. This dissipation, you are leaking through your senses, you are leaking through your thoughts, you are leaking into many, many, many desires. Collect yourself slowly, slowly, collect everything together. Stop running after the world, stop running after imaginations, stop running after the objects. Today, one lady called me. I'll give you the example. Examples come every day. One lady called me, Swamiji, I want to call you for bhiksha. I said, okay, this day. Then the topic changed. You know, Swamiji, our cat died. I said, yeah. No, I'm depressed since she has died. I said, what is there to be depressed? Everyone has to die. You also will die one day. I will also die one day. I understand, but you know, I had to do euthanasia to the cat, and I feel that the soul is stuck in this world and I am here. I should not have done that. I did not do the proper cremation. I did not. I wanted to bury it in the backyard, but I had to leave it in the hospital, and then the truck comes and takes it away for cremation. Blah 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 blah. That when did this happen? 3 months ago. So I said, are you calling me for the Brahman Bhojanam after someone's death? No, 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 Swamiji, not that. We want to show you our new house, this, that. I am depressed. The memories of the cat can keep coming. I am unable. Swamiji, you know, this is the tone. Swamiji, you know, I even went to the hospital to see if he is still alive. Is this something to be, these thoughts are something to be cherished, something to be proud of? Who are we trying to fool? So we like our thoughts so much that we are not stopping singing the tale of what has happened in the last 3 months since the death of that animal. That I cannot sleep at night. I dream of that cat. I thought it is still alive, so I went to the hospital to see if it is somewhere around. And then the doctor said, I'll give you a death certificate. Maybe that will help your mind. See how one object in the world has brought about what you call, like the computer crashes. Here the brain has crashed. Crashing of the brain is called depression. Don't get into these things. Sort out your phobias, your fears, all they happen because of the attachment, because we are allowing the objects of the world to determine who we are. Stop. Stop this self-sabotage. Then what is to be done? Collect yourself together. Collect your energy. Focus it on something higher. Understand. Here we are in Upanishads, there is only understanding. And what do you have to understand? That all the stimuli of the world, including your husband, wife, children, parents, everyone, God also, whatever you see in temples and this, and photos and this and that, all of these people, this entire universe is not possible if you don't have the senses. The senses are not possible. They cannot function if there is no mind. Mind is not able to function if there is no consciousness. And consciousness is independent principle. Mind is not an independent principle. as long as it is attached, as long as it is dissipated, as long as it is thinking of the other. So start gathering your energies. Now to go on a tour. So what I've done, I've got the bag here. I collect the clothes, whatever is required, and put it in the bag. They're in one place. I don't have to run around looking for them. They're in one place. Is our mind in one place? Are our senses in one place? Is our consciousness in one place? Or it is getting lost in various roles? Are we in control of our roles? Are we in control of our thoughts? Or are we enslaved by the thoughts? Jiva is enslaved by the thoughts. He is entangled in the thoughts. Jiva's existence is determined by the objects of the world. Adhira Purusha, his existence is self-determined. It is not determined by the objects of the world. It is not determined by the thoughts of the world. It is self-determined. This is what this example is telling us. Don't leak away into this world, into the manyness of personalities. Collect yourself and reclaim the consciousness that you are. And when we do that, then we come to be the consciousness. And we have studied. And even if you don't study, what is the nature of consciousness? Once the river, once you have the drops of the ocean called the world, have become the stream called the senses, have become the river called the mind. When it merges into the consciousness by contemplating inwards, what is the nature of consciousness? What is the nature of Atman? It is one without a second. The moment you come to be that, you are the Atman of all. There is none outside you. You are all that there is. Such is the Jivan Mukta Purusha. It doesn't, in spite of the differences, this is just a way of speaking, he sees the oneness in all. That oneness is not on account of anything but the consciousness that he is. This consciousness crystallized is the forms. This consciousness is the one which is expressing through those forms. Catch this. And in this way, Nachiketa was answered by Lord Yamaraj. And now we come into the Dvitiyavalli, or the next chapter. And here the various stages of self-control are being talked about. And पुनरपि प्रकारांतरेण ब्रह्मतत्व निर्धारण अर्थः अयम आरंभः दुर्विज्ञेयत्वाद् ब्रह्मणः. Brahma, that is Brahman, cannot be known, and yet how it can be caught in our daily living. This attempt is being made, or ways are being shown through various verses in this particular chapter. And the the various sections in this, there also will be 3 sections. These sections, they'll be dealing with various aspects of the same idea. What is the self discipline required, what is the meditations required. And different approaches are given so that we don't lose the plot. So in this particular chapter here, in the so they begin this second valli, Dvitiya valli. So the first verse is taken as the that body is taken. This example of the body is taken, and through that our attention is brought to the conscious principle that is, and how it is pervading everything, how it is independent of everything, how the whole body is dependent on the consciousness. And instead of getting through the thinking that you are the body and getting attracted to the objects outside in the world, our attention is brought to the consciousness, without which the body cannot function. Body meaning, the panchakoshas, or you can take it simply, the senses and the mind and the intellect. All of them cannot function without that principle, and that principle you are. And in this way, the first verse goes, Puramekadashadwaram ajasya vakrachetasaha anushthaya vimuktascha vimuchyate etadvaitata. Together, Puramekadashadwaram ajasya vakrachetasaha anushthaya cha na shochati vimuktascha vimuchyate etadvaitata. That consciousness, that conscious principle, which is eternal, which is of the nature of knowledge, which is Dharam Ajasya Vakrachetasa, and which is unborn, that Atma is unborn, and it is found in in this example, it is found in the city of Ekadashadwaram, in the city of 11 gates. And what is that? In the city of 11 gates. And when we contemplate on that, Anusthayana shochati vimuktascha vimuchyate. And when we think of that, remember before in this previous chapter it came Angushta Matra, location was given. So here also, excuse me, Idli is speaking. Idli is making me yawn. I had idli for dinner. So when we meditate on that Atma, the beings, the seeker, he becomes what? Na shochati. He does not regret. He does not become miserable. And what else? Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Even while living in this body, even while that consciousness is expressing through this body, it becomes free of all the karma bandhana. Vimuchyate. Vimuchyate becomes free or is free, recognizes that it is the independent principle in spite of functioning through the equipment. How wonderful! This is what we want. We are functioning through the body, but our problem is we function as the body. Wrong take. We are functioning through the body. Consciousness is expressing through the body. And we express as the body. So this particular, in this way, when he keeps thinking, contemplating, meditating on that who is the eternal and self-knowing principle because of which the body is functioning, that one who is functioning through the 11 holes, the 11 doors, one becomes free. Etad vaitata. This is the truth. This is that truth that you have asked, O Nachiketa. How wonderful. Now, this whole the Shankar Bhashya will take us to what this city is. Puram Puram Iva Puram. द्वारपाल अधिष्ठात्र आद्यनेक पुरोपकरण संपत्ति दर्शनात् शरीरम पुरम. Pura means the fort, this or the city. Yeah, city, not the fort, the city. And this city looks like a fort. It has got the walls all around. What are the walls you have? Your skin. And this is the city inside. Everything. There are gardens, rivers, streams, droplets. Everything that you can imagine is inside here. Dwarpala adhisthatra adyaneka puropakarana sampatti. So here he says that because we see, why do we call it a fort? Because we see there are doorkeepers, we see there is a adhisthata. Adhisthata means the owner of the city. There are doorkeepers of the city, and there is a what you call, and the various other things. Pura upakarana sampatti darshanat shariram puram. Pura upakarana, the various faculties, the various things that are required for a fort, all that are seen, darshanat shariram, they are all seen in the body. Therefore, it is called as Puram. It is called as the fort, the city fort. Puram cha sa upakaranam swatmana asamhata swatantra swavarthyam drishtam tathedam purasamanyad aneka upakarana samhatam. Upakarana samhatam. One moment. Shariram swatmana संहत राज्यस्य नीय स्वामर्थ्यम bhavitum arhati. So here he says, Puram cha so sa upakaranam. And just like every city, what is the city? A fort. That with all its faculties, with all its whatever is included in the fort, in the city fort, it comes, it is there to support, take care, accommodate the one who is living in the fort. And who is this one who is living in the fort? Here it is saying that swatantra swamartham drishtam. Swatantra Swami, that Swami, that owner, that the boss of the fort, who is independent. Fort is not the owner of the fort. If another king comes, defeats him, and he takes on the owner, or says, I own the fort will continue to serve the new king. In that way, each king is independent. So we have to just come to this recognition, this understanding that the fort is there to serve the owner of, and who is the owner? He is an independent person. He is an independent principle. In our case, what has happened? We think we are the fort. We are this body. And what is the truth? This body is there, Panchakoshas are there only to serve the Swami of this body, the principle, the Atmic principle. That is the owner. Without it, this fort called the body has got no meaning. We'll see how. Similarly, if the fort is abandoned, it has got no meaning. It will break down eventually because nobody is living there. So, in the same way, here he says, Shankaracharya says, Tathedam Purasamanya Samanyad Anekopakarana Samhatam Shariram Swatmana Asamhata Rajasthaniya Swamartham Bhavitum Arhati. Similarly, we see that this if we compare the fort with the owner of the fort to this body with the owner of this body, that this body also with all its faculties and etc., it keeps serving the one who is separate to it. And who is that separate? That separate is the Swami, who is the owner of this body, the one who is infusing this body, for whom this body is functioning. One must understand it in this manner rather than thinking that they are the body. Here, an observation is being made through a simile with the fort. Tat chedam sharirākhyam puramekadasha dvaranyasya sapta shirshanyani nabhya saharvanchi trini shirasyekam taihi ekadashadwaram puram. This body, this sharir, it is this city, it has got 11 gates. And what are those 11 gates? It says that there are 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth, and that makes it 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. Uh, then, then there is 2. There is the genital organ and the anus. These are also 2 holes. So that makes it, and also the nabhi, the navel. So that makes it 3. So 7 plus 3, 10. And then, and the 11th one is the Brahmarandra, the fontanelle. You know, the when the child is born, you see the hole in the skull. That is the fontanelle. That's where our Srimad Bhagavat says the consciousness, at a relative level, the consciousness enters into the fetus after in the 4th or the 5th month. So that is also a hole which is temporarily closed. So altogether, how many? 7 in the face, 3 the navel, the anus and the genitals in the lower part of the body. 7 plus 3, 10, and 1 on the top, which is 11. So this is the city fort of with 11 gates. And then it says kasya jasya janmadi vikriya rahita syatmanah rajasthaniyasya puradharma vilakshanasya. And then he says that this, in one body, the one who is living within this, within these 11 gates, he is called as the owner of the three. Because of these 11 gates, this fort is called, or this body is called the city fort with 11 gates. And whose is this city? It is said kasya jasya janmadi vikriya, so on. So it is said that it is of whose is this city? It is of that person who is unborn, beginningless, and all the qualities, all the properties of the fort do not affect him. The doors can be opened and closed. The one who owns, he does not open and close. If this, through this door of these 2 doors of the eyes you see, he does not see. This is the dharma of the eyes. This is the the function of the eyes. But because it is the function of the eyes, it does not become the function of the Atma. The function of the ears, these 2 holes, is to listen. Listening is not the dharma of the Atma. It is the dharma of the ears. So here it is told that whatever is the dharma of the various gates of this city, the one for whom this fort is, he is independent of those dharmas, those individual, all the 11 dharmas. He is independent, and it is and therefore it is free of birth, and it is modification free, and it is the constant is the constant principle by way of being the Atma. And then it says avakra chetasaha avakra makutila maditya prakasha vannityamevavasthitameka rupam chetaha vijnanam अस्येत्य वक्र चेताः तस्या वक्रचेतसो राजस्थानीयस्य ब्रह्मणः. Then apart from that, it is said that it is avakra chetasaha. He is he whose mind is not corrupt. Chetasa is the mind, and here it says, or we shouldn't even use the word chitta is the mind. Here it says chetasaha. It is that consciousness which is corruptionless, corruptless. There is no impurity in it whatsoever. Avakra. You see, ashtavakra. Vakra means teda meda, crooked. So this consciousness is that, this principle is that for whom this city of nine gates is, he is modificationless and he is not crooked. Avakra Chedasa. Avakra Makutila Adi Aditya Prakasha. So it is not kutil, it is not, here what is the word he says? It is avakra, it is akutil. Akutil here, the meaning of akutil they have taken as, it means that it is like the sun. It's ever constant in one place. It does not move from one place to the other. Who is moving? The planets are moving. Is the sun moving? No. And just like the sun, it is akutil and it is ever the same. It is ever the same. What is the nature of the sun? Heat and light, continuous. Does he say that? Does the sun say that today I want to take a break? No. Similarly, this consciousness is also of the nature of light, knowledge. It is of the nature of Satchidananda, and it is continuous. It is continuously glowing, without any rest, without any break. So it is, this Atma is constant, like the sun. Just like the sun is continuously glowing, this Atma, this consciousness is also always glowing, and that uncrooked, royally positioned Atma, for him this city of 11 gates is. Now you keep applying it on yourself. I am seeing, I am hearing, I am thinking, I understood, I didn't understand. It's very difficult, Swamiji. And who are you? When do these all statements come? When we are either identified with our senses, we are identified with our mind, whether we are identified with our intellect, or we are identified with waking only. And so on. So it is that Atma, that Brahman, for whom that consciousness, for whom this city fort of 11 gates is available. Yasyedam puram tam parameshwaram puraswaminam anusthaya dhyatva dhyanam hi tasyanushtanam samyak vijnana purvakam tam sarvaishana vinirmuktah sansamam sarvabhutastham dhyatva na shochati. He says, where are we? Here, yasyedam puram tam. Whose this city fort of 11 gates is, that Swami, that owner, that boss, not owner, for whom it is the boss of that that Parmeshwar, that here it's used Puram Tam Parameshwaram, that Parameshwar, Puraswaminam Anushtaya Dhyatva. We must, or it is told, for whom this city fort is, to that Swami of the city, to that Parameshwar, uh, do Anushtan by doing Dhyan, and Dhyan hi tasya Anushtanam samyak vijnana purvakam. uh, and and what is the Anushtan? What is the way you connect with him? What is the way you contemplate on him? And uh, uh, here it is told that Anushtan is Dhyan. Continue to contemplate again and again. Do the meditation on him. What is the meditation? Here in this at this particular juncture in this example, the meditation is that the body with the 11 gates is for the consciousness that I am. This consciousness that I am, it is ever constant. It does not come and go. It is ever of the nature of light, like the sun. For this consciousness, the body is provided to serve. Just like car is provided to reach a destination, this body with the 11 gates is provided to reach, to express, not to be identified, not to take ownership of, and thereafter live as the body. No. The body must do what you ask it to do. But here what is going on? Whatever the body asks, we do. Whatever the tongue asks, we run after it. Whatever the eyes see, we run after it. Tasya anushthanam samyak vijnana purvakam tam sarvaishana vinirmuktaha sansamam. Sarvaishana vinirmuktaha. Sarvaishana, sarva eshana vinirmuktaha. Vinirmukta means to be free of all sarva eshana. And what are the eshanas? The putreshana, lokeshana, vitteshana. So putreshana, the eshana is desire for children, progeny, followers, disciples, devotees. He is my chela, he is my devotee, he is my student. No desire for anyone. So putreshana doesn't mean only child born through the womb to a parent. No, gurus also have putreshana. They want to put someone as the next person. They want to have more and more disciples. They want to have more and more followers on Instagram. Eshana, putreshana, vitteshana. Vitteshana is desire for wealth, more possessions, more relations, become popular. I'm well loved by everyone. How many likes you are getting? How many? Oh, millions. Oh, fantastic. I think I'm very popular. Vitteshana. Vitteshana. This is the wealth. What is the wealth? The more people I know, the more power I can wield, the more control I have. siddhis, that also comes under Vitteshana. And the last one is Lokeshana, popularity. Popularity. Can't live without the world. Can't live without the world. And this becomes like politicians, like musicians. Their inspirations is the claps that they get. A politician, even though his party has spent millions and gave 5,000 rupees, and he sees in front of him 100,000 people standing, you can't imagine, even if it is a fake crowd. But the fact that they have come and you are standing in front of them and speaking, it's euphoric. A sense of grandeur sets in, that I am some force to reckon with. I am great. The next meeting, oh, it should be bigger. See, Lokeshna. So, what is this Atma? What is this principle? This principle on which you are on which you are meditating. Meditate on it without any of these desires. Vinirmukta, being free of putreshna, vitteshna and lokeshna. Meditate on that eternal principle. Sansamam sarvabhutastham dhyatva na shochati. And also look at it that all the five elements, the whole world is made up of the five elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. Are the space, air, fire, water, earth, are they there serving this constant principle, or is this constant principle dependent on the five great elements? This Atmic principle is independent of the five great elements. The five great elements are dependent on this conscious principle, and in this way, because the Atma is there, therefore the five great elements are there. Therefore the Panchakoshas are there. Therefore the universe is there. Therefore the 11 gates are there. Look at what happens to a dead person. Leave him for some days. So in this way, a seeker, when he contemplates on this Atma, who is independent principle, and by contemplating and meditating on this principle, he does not become miserable, knowing that he is that principle. This consciousness that I am, or this is its nature. It is lending itself. It is invigorating the panchakoshas. It is invigorating the five great elements. Out of those five great elements, this body is created. And not only this body, all the bodies. So if the five great elements cannot exist without this Atma, can this body exist without this Atma? No. It is dependent on that. But who are you? Are you the five great elements or the body, or are you the independent principle? So here very clear distinction is being made that you are the constant, you are the eternal, you are the unborn, you are independent of the city of 11 gates. This is the crisis. when we start taking the city of nine gates to be I, immediately the rules of engagement change. Now you are no longer a witness of what was going on. Now you are no longer allowing. The moment identification takes place, ownership of the body takes place, that very moment, the mind comes into play. With that comes the individuality. With that comes the dual. All this is happening simultaneously. With that comes the duality, subject-object breakup. But as long as you are untouched by the whole, your attention will be on the total. It cannot be on the individual. When you identify with one body, immediately individuality is created. If you remain as the Atma, Atma is Brahman. Atma is Paramatma. This understanding is not only for this body, that this body is made up of the Panch Mahabhutas, the five great elements, and this Atma is not, the five great elements are because of the Atma. Atma is not because of the five great elements. This equation is not only for this body, this is for everybody. So if I am independent of the city, which is city of 11 gates, which is made up of the five great elements, wherever I see that only. Wherever I see, my attention is on the independent principle only, not outside. It is this one which is appearing and expressing everywhere. Because you have gone out of the way. The moment you get out of the way, the individual consciousness and the total consciousness merge. Just as the space inside the pot and the space outside are one and the same at any given moment. Exactly the same way. If this ownership and identification is given up with the body, how do you give up? By contemplating in this manner that this consciousness is independent, is constant. It is for it that the Panchakoshas or the city of 9 gates and 11 gates is serving. It is because of it, not I am because of it, because of the city. This is the meditation. Again and again contemplate in this manner, again and again, till it clicks. And such a person who meditates in this manner, having given up the three ashanas, then he understands the nature of the city, and he recognizes who he is. And therefore he does not become miserable. Tad vijnanad abhaya praptehe shokavasara bhavat kruto bhayeksha. He says, when one comes to know the Brahman, comes to know the consciousness through whichever contemplation, here one contemplation is given, such a person gains fearlessness. And the moment shokavasara bhavat kruto bhayeksha, and with that fearlessness, all miseries in toto, uh, it does not get that misery does not get a chance to express itself, because Brahman by nature is Satchidanand Swarup, and therefore uh, such a person never has any experience of fear anywhere at any time. Today I was in the front house and Swamiji, 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 Swamiji. मैंने कहा क्या हो गया यार, in the middle of the afternoon. See, there is a lizard here. Lizard. How did the lizard come? It's a garden lizard, those small ones. Cute thing. And when I was bringing it out in the dustpan, I purposely dropped it near her feet. Oh man, big jump. Not by the lizard, by the girl. Huh? Fear comes only from otherness. Fear comes only by maintaining differences. So if we need to identify with the consciousness. And consciousness by nature is infinite, all pervasive. And with that is the cessation of all fear. Where there is cessation of all fear, there cannot be any misery. What is the misery? We are in Kathopanishad, don't forget. The misery is the misery of death, fearlessness of death. I'm not afraid of death because I am of the nature of infinite. I am deathless. Then what dies? Body dies. The city of gate can be destroyed and built again. Atma never dies. Iha eva vidyakruta kama karma bandhanaihi vimukto bhavati. Therefore, such a person, such a dhir purush, such a atma jnani, such a person who's meditating on the Atman again and again, as given out in this verse, in this world itself, he becomes free from avidya, ignorance. He becomes free from desire, and he becomes free from karma. Iha eva avidyakruta kama karma bandhanaihi, by the vimukto bhavati. Vimukto bhavati becomes free, independent, gets liberated from what? By the bandhana, by the bond, from the bondage of avidya, kama, karma, ignorance, desire, and action. All the three require ownership. They require differences. They require identification. Then only avidya can express. Where there is identification with the city, there alone desire will. I should open this door, I should not open that door. Then only karma, because there is identification, so karma is possible. But if a person has come to realize he is the Atma, independent of the city of 11 gates, then where is the question of avidya? Where is the question of kama, desire? And where is the question of karma, action? Vimuktascha san vimuchyate punaha shariram na gruhnati iti artaha. Vimuktascha san vimuchyate. In this manner, this Jivan Mukta Purusha Vimuktascha, Jivan Mukta San Vimuchyate, that he has, when he has become free from the body, become free from the 11 gated city, and become Jivan Mukta, Puna Shariram Na Grunati iti artaha. such a person then never gains another body. Such a person is called a Jivan Mukta Purusha. So, what is the name of the game? Name of the game is being the consciousness in spite of the world, in spite of the body. We have to, what is the name of the game for the wave? In spite of being the wave has to recognize that it is actually the water. The moment it gives up its waveness and becomes the water, that very moment, what is the nature of water? Nature of water is not wave. Nature of water is infinite. Infinity. Same will be yours if you get out of the way. The individuality has to melt in the meditation on the infinite. Meditation is not to maintain individuality. Meditation on the way it is told here or anywhere. Meditation on the Atma, meditation on the Brahman. So many meditation on Om or so many exercises were given before. Acha, now I have the experience. There is no one left behind to have an experience. So in this manner, in the cross body, we have the 11, in the cross plane we have the 11 gates, and in the subtle plane also, what is the subtle plane? Then the dream. What do we have? The 5 senses, the 5 karmendriyas and the mind. There also we have 11. And in this way, we go beyond the identification of this thought traffic will go on. When do accidents happen? Again I repeat. When do accidents happen? When we are not focused on our destination. Because we are focused on our destination, find out what is that faculty. You are driving also, you are pressing the brake also, you are pressing the accelerator also, you are doing the indicator, you are putting the wipers on, you are putting the warning someone if someone is coming, flicking the lights, maintaining your path of your car within the 2 white lines, stopping at the lights at the right time, making sure that you don't dash into the car in front, keeping a safe distance, looking around at all other traffic behavior and not getting overwhelmed by the all other traffic that is there. You learn to negotiate through it all. What is that faculty which is wherein you are able to rise above everything and yet reach the destination? How come you are thinking of the destination also and able to drive also? How you are able to do that? Find out. This is exactly what we have to do in life. This vehicle is moving. It is doing whatever it has to be done. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, feeling, intellectualizing, doing the japa, doing the work, earning money, blah, blah, blah. Everything is going on. The vehicle is going. So have we lost in the journey, or is our attention clear on the journey, on the destination of this journey of life? Because if the destination is not clear, you will be only going round and round and round. So what is that? Find out within you that ability to function in life and yet being able to remain aloof from the whole thing. Be a witness. When you're driving the car, you are a witness of everything. You are heightened awareness about everything that is going on around you, including the destination. Do we have that heightened awareness of the destination called the truth of the Atman, in spite of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, etc.? Or have we lost? Or have we disintegrated? We have dropped the witnessing, and now we have become the seer, we have become the hearer, we have become the taster, we have become the thinker, and we don't stop there. From there on, we have become the father, we have become the mother, we have become the miserable one, we have become the happy one. And it goes on and on and on, and we keep breaking up, keep disintegrating. You have to collect all the energy and become aware. How? By meditating in this manner as given in this verse. First example. Next one will be next. And such a person then becomes free. If the consciousness combines itself, marries itself, it is not possible, but thinks in that way, that I am the five elements, it is called Jiva. If it sees itself as independent of the five elements, it is the infinite. And in this way, Bhagwan Bhagavad Padacharya says, Etad Vaitata. This is that truth that you have asked, Nachiketa. See how much compassionately he is pouring himself out in myriads of ways for the benefit of Nachiketa. Because first time in his life he has found a qualified student. It's a great joy for him to pour. सतु न एक शरीर पुरवर्त्येव आत्मा किम तर्हि सर्वपुरवर्ती कथम. But tu means but. There are two words, kintu and tu. Both mean but. Those who are studying Sanskrit, they will know. Sahatu na. So but he, that Atma, he is only one per body. Is it? No. It is not living only one per body. That Atma is not one per body. But what is that Atma? It is that one Atma who is alone expressing through all the bodies. It is that one water which is expressing through all the waves. Similarly, it is that one electricity which is expressing through all the lights. It is that one gold which is expressing through all the ornaments. It is that one Atma which is expressing through all the bodies. No, it is not only expressing through one body, it is expressing through all bodies. So, what is the nature of Atma? It is not one per body. Are we thinking that we are one per body? Do I give validity to another body as separate from me? Or I give it the benefit of doubt? I look at all the lights. So many lights are there in this room. What is that faculty within me which says, yeah, I see the lights, but I know there is one electricity behind? Can we have that conviction when we look at the variety of beings and we say, yeah, I know there is Atma behind and that I am, that this Atma is? At least be intellectually be convinced first. Then understanding will dawn, where and the only once that understanding has to dawn, that very moment individuality khalas. How this one Atma, how this one consciousness is living in all the bodies? This question is addressed in the second verse, which we'll look at in our next class. So contemplate. We have been given a queue, city with 11 gates. That this body is. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.